Hi friends, how are you today? Welcome to one of my favorite times of the week. And yes, you will hear my daughter shouting in the background. It is our weekly edition of Ask Me Anything. I've made the commitment to set aside time during every week that is humanly possible to answer questions because I believe that when we know more information and we share that information, we all grow collectively. So like always, I like to start with question of the day. Question of the day rolls in with, what is your favorite time of day? Are you morning, afternoon, or evening? Like, when do you work best? If y'all have been around the block with me for a minute, you will know that Mondays, but mornings are my jam. And I love Monday mornings. I always feel like it's a fresh start to a new week. Let's dive into Q&A. So the way that this works is previously asked questions that have been upvoted or popular by the community get upvoted. And I answer them here, but also your live questions are prioritized. So leave your question, we'll get this party started. Okay, so Anna asked, before COVID, I took a sabbatical year, moved to another country, and then COVID hit us. I left my photography studio in the hands of my business partner, but she never posted anything on social media. Now I'm ready to take back my studio and start working again. My question is, what do you recommend I should do post now? Should I start posting as nothing happened, even though the last post was in July 2019? And the answer is number one, yes. Stop overthinking and just start doing. Pick up where you left off. I can't tell you how many business owners I have spoken to where they'll kind of go silent on social media, or they'll go on a sabbatical, or they'll take a break, or something happened in their life where they just got off social. And they're so worried about jumping back in that oftentimes they jump back in and people are like, oh yeah, hey, nice to see you back here. Like, there are very few people, if anybody at all, who's monitoring every single post. So Anna and anybody else who's wondering how or when do you just jump in, you jump in. It is like a double dutch, jump rope, double dutch. Like, you just get in and then you figure it out. I promise you, the people who are there are going to celebrate you coming back. And then as you add inventory to the algorithm, AKA your post, you have more opportunity for people to talk back to you. The key is going to be to look forward and not back. Instead of talking about COVID or business partners or what should or should not have happened, when you spend energy thinking about the past, it's taking up energy from what you can do in the future. So my advice has always been, y'all hear me say this week after week, do as much as you can, however you can. There's no right or wrong. You will hear me say, hey, you should be doing live video. But if you don't do live video, are you wrong, broken, or behind? No. I tell people, hey, you should be on TikTok, or you should be creating reels. If you're not doing that, are you behind or doing it wrong? No. The only thing I encourage people to do is to not have an excuse. Whatever it is you commit to, well, it's time to stay true to that commitment. Because regardless of your mode or mechanism of promoting your business, it could be on Clubhouse, it could be on Pinterest, it could be on Instagram, whatever the case may be, what I am only asking you is to commit to consistency, your level of consistency. Some people can post 3 times a day, 7 days a week. Great, awesome on you. And other people are like, you know what? It's like 3 times a week is my jam. Whatever it is, you just need to commit with it and then stick with it. There's a couple of questions that are coming in right now. So Courtney asked, I sell different versions of the same products, t-shirts. How many is too many on a website? I don't want to overwhelm customers. I love this question, and this is not just for people who are selling t-shirts and or products. I love websites that are not overwhelming, that will immediately guide me to what I want. So if I am selling a product that is a t-shirt, you have to understand that people are coming in for different things. Men's, women's, children. Make them make a selection of what they want before you show them all the things. Once you've segmented them by desired product, then you can go in and showcase. Now, oftentimes, I love when websites will index the site to show most popular or hottest seller. I like that, but then I also like the ability to filter shirts by season, by size, by sale, by most popular. So making it easy on the front end for the consumer will help them stick around and know exactly what to buy and what you sell. Okay, let's dive into Mindy's question. Mindy asked, in growing trust and engagement, how should I follow up? As in reaching out to likes, comments, both. And this is what I want to remind everybody here today, is that social media is like a cocktail party. It is like a wedding reception. It is like an industry conference mixer. Like when you walk into a room and somebody just nods at you from a distance, what do? You nod back. Or if you're like, cool, you got flavor, you're like, hey, okay? If somebody says hi to you, you just say hi back, right? And then all of a sudden, when we are talking about engaging on LinkedIn, when we talk about engaging on Twitter, we talk about engaging on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, I want us to always remember and ask ourselves, how would you connect at a party, right? At a party, I am hoping that if you keep it casual, if you lead with kindness, if you offer value, I am hoping that that is what you do at a cocktail party. I am hoping that's what you do if you ever go to a conference. Back in the day when we could go to conferences, it's like if you go to a conference, you're not walking in and be like, air guns, you're like, buy my product. No, you're saying like, hey, what's up? How are you? Where are you from? Keeping it casual. Oh, did you connect with this person? Do you know that? Did you happen to go to that class? What do you think about that? It is literally, friends, when you get a comment or if somebody likes your post and you're like, what do I do? Ask yourself, what would I say at a cocktail party? That then becomes your comment. Okay, a couple of live questions. Jessica asked, is it more important to post consistently with a tool or post live but less consistent? Jessica, I actually think, okay, so what Jessica's asking, or what I think Jessica's asking is, hey, Jasmine, I can be more consistent when I push out my content on a third-party uploading app. Like let's say Later or Hootsuite or Planoly, or planning them directly on Facebook, right? Jessica's saying, I could be more consistent, but they're all scheduled. Or she's saying, should I post them live, but be less consistent? And I'm telling Jessica and anybody else who's here, it doesn't have to be only one option. If you're saying, Jasmine, I can plan 4 posts in a week, awesome, plan them. And then if you're saying, I'm pretty sure that I can post 3 posts or 1 post live, great. Now here's the thing, this is purely speculation. I'm gonna talk about what I have noticed. What I have noticed is that when I plan my post to be scheduled, like if I go to Facebook and I schedule a post, versus when I go to Facebook and I post it in real time and I'm engaging with comments like shortly thereafter, I've noticed that I get more organic reach because I'm more aware that that content is out. If I schedule it out of sight, out of mind, so that a couple hours later I'll be like, oh yeah, maybe I should check my Facebook page and see what's going on there. Versus if I post, it's top of mind, which empowers me to go back with frequency to respond to comments as quickly as possible. I have noticed I get best organic reach when I post live, but again, I'm encouraging you to test it. Now, if you're more consistent when you're planning, plan it. But if you can create a hybrid of the two, create a hybrid of the two. And I want you to test those analytics for yourself. Okay, so Denise asked a question. I notice my audience is in stories I love. My feed, people just scroll through. How do I push the needle? Well, let's talk about our friend, the algorithm. Okay, every social platform has an algorithm. So, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, TikTok, Clubhouse, LinkedIn, they all have algorithms. So, when we use different aspects of a social platform, like stories on LinkedIn, stories on Facebook, stories on Instagram, that is a piece or a way for us as creators, as business owners, to put out a piece of content. Now, what Denise is saying, hey, Jasmine, the content that I'm putting out in stories, people are engaging with. And the content that I'm putting out on my feed, it's not getting as much engagement. I want to remind Denise and anybody else interested, each type of content you create works together to create inventory, synergy. So, what we mean by this is engagement with one type of content helps the other get seen. So, when we're thinking about this, if Denise is saying, hey, Jasmine, people are engaging on my stories, I am always like, great, Amazing. Let's express gratitude for this, because the next time that person logs in and they're scrolling through the feed, because they engage with your stories, there's a higher likelihood of them seeing one of your posts in the feed. Even if they're not engaging with the post, they're still seeing the post, which we're going to make a few tweaks, but I just first and foremost want to lay the foundation that as long as you're getting engagement on any type, if you're doing a reel, if you're doing stories, if you're going live, if you are using engagement tools in your stories and people are using and engaging with that, awesome, great. It's going to work for you in the feed. Now, I know Denise. Denise is a member of Social Curator. I know that she does brows, and I know that she's on the East Coast. Her posts on her feed are beautiful. There are a lot of before and after. She does microblading for brows. She does a lot of before and afters, and she's very good at what she does. But it's hard for a consumer to go through and see a before and after and then feel so driven to leave a comment. Whereas Denise's stories are a lot more casual, behind the scene. You see a lot more of Denise. They feel very personal. Am I surprised that people are engaging more with Denise's stories than her posts? No, because statistically, people engage with personal elements of social stories so much more. So let's think about this. As you are going through Instagram, are you more likely to engage with an account where you feel like you're seeing personal aspects of that person? Personal aspects of perhaps the car they drive to work, or where they went on vacation, or perhaps their kids, or perhaps their cat, or perhaps their favorite show on Netflix? Are you more likely, just think about this, yes or no, let's have a real conversation. Are you more likely to engage with somebody who's showing you a personal element of their life? Or are you more likely to engage with seeing a piece of their business content, what they sell, their team, a sale? Now, I am not saying that you shouldn't be posting business posts, not at all. You totally should. But you have to understand that engagement is a derivative of somebody being personally connected. So anybody who's just like, hey, I would like more engagement, one of the things that you could infuse is elements that reflect your personality into your business posts. So for instance, if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, those are two of the most highly visual platforms. So I'm using those specifically. You will see that a lot of the content that I put is educational content about teaching business owners how to build a brand and market it on social media. But whenever I post a photo with me and my daughter, and I do this about 1 out of every 12 to 14 posts, that engagement is much higher than any of my other content. Just a random photo of me and my daughter will outperform 5, 6, 10 times better than another post that probably took me an hour to create. Why? People like connecting with other people. Do I want my feed to be entirely comprised of photos of me and my daughter? No, I don't. It's a personal decision, but I don't want that. I don't want to position myself as being an authority on being a mother and an entrepreneur. I don't really want to talk about my daughter publicly. I know it's weird. I feel weird saying it because I was like, I don't think I've ever said this before. I don't really want to use my daughter as a driving force in my business. It's still very, very, very personal to me. But here's the thing. There are other people who feel so much more comfortable talking about their children, sharing about their children, documenting their children. And I'm like, that's amazing. I clap that up. I am choosing a slightly different route. And then there are other people who will not show their children at all. There's not a right or wrong, but there are ways to infuse personal elements into our business. Perhaps it's your favorite food, how you like to work out, charitable organizations that you're a part of. How do you spend your weekends? What's your TV splurge? What's your food splurge? What books are you reading? There's a lot of ways to show personal elements of your life and infuse it into your business content. I'm not saying that you need to show your puppy, your kitten, and your baby all in one post, but there is a way to strategically approach it. So let's loop back and close the loop in regards to Denise's question. Denise said, hey, Jasmine, people are engaging so much more with my stories than my posts. And I said, they're engaging more with your stories because there's a lot more personal, casual elements in your stories than there is on your feed. So my suggestion would be to Denise and anybody else who feels the same ways, is there any way that you can insert more of yourself inside of your business content? Okay, let's dive into a few of the live questions that have been asked. Okay, Jenerice Diaz asked, best way to stay top of mind through maternity leave? Plan your content. Plan content and schedule the content to go out. And if you do not, so if you have a personal account on Instagram, you can't schedule your content. If you have a business account or a creator, if you have a creator account, you can pre-schedule your content on Instagram. If you have a business account, you can use like Later, Planoly to schedule it, and it'll push out to Instagram. I firmly believe that if you plan, you like on average, maternity leave can be anywhere from like 4 to 8 to 10 weeks on average. That's like a very big gap. Do I think it's going to break your business if you do not show up at all? No, I don't. You will always be able to come back. Do I think you have an opportunity to still keep your audience warm? Yes. Have a plan. On the inside of Social Curator, we teach people how to plan a month of content in one day. Do I think that Jenerice needs 30 posts? No. But do I think she should do, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna loop back to what I said before to make sure. Where's that slide? Oh, this is the slide. I'm gonna repeat it again for the people in the back. Do as much as you can, however you can. Going on maternity or not, having a plan to stay consistent. And look, let me say this again because can't say it enough. So we want to make a commitment to consistency. Friends, I truly practice what I preach. When we adopted Luna, we had 24-hour notice. I did not have the opportunity to fully be cognizant and plan my content. On the drive from Southern California to Las Vegas, my first thing was I felt I felt stressed, I felt overwhelmed, I felt excited, I felt hopeful. The adoption had not been solidified, so we were going to Las Vegas on a whim. And in order to keep my mind like fully focused, I was listening to music, I was praying, I was having a conversation with my husband, but then I was also like, I'm gonna bring up my laptop and I'm gonna pre-plan some posts because I don't know how it's gonna be in Las Vegas. It took us 6 days for us to actually be connected with our daughter. That's a long, different story. I made a whole podcast about it. But it was in those 6 days that I started outlining my content because I did not want to share about the adoption until there was a lot of things around the adoption. So I was like, what can I do to still stay present? How can I empower my team? How can I stay focused? But then how can I also experience life as a mom? I planned out my content and then I turned off. So it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm just going to say that, but it's also very possible. Okay. Izzy. Hi, Izzy. Good to see you, boo. Like, Izzy just sent me a DM yesterday on Instagram, so I'm happy we're connecting on multiple platforms. When to follow other entrepreneurs in my field? I like to support others in inspiration profiles, but still, what is too much? Izzy, that answer is different for every different business owner. There's not a right or wrong. You get to determine what it is, and guess what? If you decide to follow, hypothetically, 100 people in your industry and you're feeling really great about it, and then over time, there are certain people in the industry who are not moving you forward, but you feel like they're like an energy suck, or your content makes you feel emotionally discombobulated, unfollow them. That's just it. Easy. It is as easy to follow as it is unfollow. You are in control of your emotions and what you want to do in your industry. So please make that decision, and then please know that you're not tied to anything. Jamie Stevens, if LinkedIn is my primary platform for promotion, can Instagram be more focused on the journey of my creative business versus my creative business itself? Does that make sense? Yes. Yes, Jamie. Yes, Jamie. I 100% co-sign on this idea. Now, do I think that the content you're sharing on one platform needs to be exactly the same on other platforms? No. Jamie has this unique position and desire to keep LinkedIn a very professional display of her business, and then on Instagram, the journey of the business. Now, here's the thing, Jamie, I'm not a betting kind of woman, but if I was, I would bet the farm that you're gonna get a heck of a lot more engagement on Instagram. Even though You get less organic reach on Instagram than you do on LinkedIn. At the time of this recording, organic reach on Instagram on average is around 3%, and on LinkedIn, it's around 4.5% or 5%. Organic, not paid, you're putting out a post. I believe that you're going to get more engagement on Instagram than you are going to be on LinkedIn, even though the percentages are different. Because why? Let's go back to the conversation we just had about Denise. People like the person. People want to buy a piece of a course creator, not a course. People want to buy the baker as much as they want to buy the cake. They want to buy the photographer as much as they want to buy the photographs. There is this human to human connection. And I am telling you, Jamie, if I had to bet anything, people are going to identify with the journey. And as a result of wanting to identify with the journey, they're going to want to buy the thing that you sell. It's bananas, but it truly does work this way. The more you share your journey, the higher likelihood you're going to be developing a group of people who know, like, and trust you faster than just doing it via business. Okay. There's another question that came in. I want to make sure. Okay, great. I'm going to botch your name. Forgive me. Marijetta, how much time does it take for you to create content? Do you create it, or do you have someone who creates it and schedules it for you? Planning is great, but then creating is a whole other thing, and it takes so much time. So on the inside of Social Curator, and I have spoken and posted videos about this, we firmly believe in creating pillar content. So we create like one piece of content. So for instance, I go on Clubhouse and I take on, if you're not on Clubhouse, y'all, find me at Jasmine Star. I love going there because it takes no prep time. This is me connecting with people and answering questions based on the questions that people are asking. I see a pattern, and then what we end up creating is like, oh, let's create a podcast around this question that was asked a lot. And once we create a script for the podcast, it also becomes a blog post. And once we have a blog post, well, we can get 2 or 3 Facebook posts or Instagram posts from that content. What if I create a 4-minute video that's like a bite-sized piece of what we talked about in the podcast? So if I create the video for like Facebook and YouTube, well, I'm gonna make sure that it's also edited vertically for IGTV. So I wanna be very clear that creation is like one piece of content that we try to use 10 different ways. Does creation take the most time? Yes. I'm going to be posting a video. I believe I'm going to be posting this video next week on Facebook, in about a week and a half on YouTube. So keep your eyes peeled. It is literally called 10 pieces of content. I'm sorry, 1 piece of content in 10 different ways. I'm going to show you the process because yes, I agree that the creation process is the heavy lifting, but once you have a system of repurposing that content across platforms, it becomes so much easier to show up and do all of the things. But like Izzy joined this live, asked a question. She sent me a DM yesterday that I responded to. It's like I am trying to listen and connect with people one-to-one or in videos like this, so I then know what type of content to create in the future. Okay, friends, if we are focused on one thing, I want us to focus on understanding that there was a point in your life, be it a year ago, 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, that you imagined you would have the things you have now or be in a place that you wanted to be now. Now, maybe when you were like 18 or 19, you're like, oh, I'm going to marry this fine brother. And you had a vision of who that person was. Or maybe you're like, I'm going to marry Natalie Portman. I'm going to marry a Natalie Portman lookalike. And maybe that was your vision. And then all of a sudden, like, your wife don't look like Natalie, but she's fly as all get out. She can enjoy a late night beer with you, or like cooks a mean goulash, or like gets along really well with your mom. And maybe you didn't marry that fine brother that you thought you were, but the man who tucks your kids in at night or like brings in the groceries in the rain. You're like, you know what, me and you, we cool. Like, you satiated the thing that you ultimately wanted, was to have a life partner. Or maybe you're single and you're like, I really like this. This is the thing that I have dreamt of: independence, autonomy, being able to travel on a whim. Maybe you dreamt of having kids and you dreamt of having a family. Now, your family might be driving you crazy. You're probably screaming in the background right now, but it was what you once dreamed of. Perhaps you are driving a car that in your wildest dreams as a kid you never thought you would drive, and there you are with it. Perhaps you went on a vacation to Disney World and you never thought that that was going to happen. I just want us to have a moment of grounding, that there was a time in our life where we wished we had everything we have now. And yet, what we wake up and we think of is what's next and what's more. And that's not wrong. That's beautiful. That's bomb. That's amazing. May you continue to do that. But may you continue to do that after taking time to express gratitude for the thing you have now. Because if you're not thankful and grateful for what you have now, what you want in the future will never be enough. I'm just inviting you, and I feel like I want to make sure that I'm not preaching or talking down to you. I am saying the thing that I need to hear myself. And so I'm inviting anybody else who feels the same way. There was a time in my life where I dreamt of having a child. And now I have this child who we jokingly call Tumbleweed, because this girl just runs out the Wild West out here. It's like everything, all the things. And I'm like, oh my God. I woke up this morning at 4:00 singing a Spanish song that she likes to sing all the time, that we have on repeat. Mariposita está en la cocina haciendo chocolate para la madrina. An hour in my brain singing that song. And I was like, you know what I should be thinking about? I should be thinking about revenue. I should be thinking about our balance sheet. And instead, I'm singing children's songs. But you want to know what? I have to express gratitude because that was the very thing that I wanted. I dreamt in my childhood, I dreamt that I would be able to build a home for my family. I dreamt that. I never thought that that was happening. And you want to know what? We're building a home. And if I can't express gratitude for, oh my God, they just pushed back the date by 3 months. We're not moving in for another 3 months. If I look at like unexpected things, it's an old home. They're like, we got to repipe the whole house. This is like not $10,000. And I'm just like, all these unexpected things. But if I can't express gratitude for doing the thing that I once dreamt of, I will not be happy to see my daughter grow up. I will not be happy to move into the house that I wanted. I will not be able to grow my business the way that I wanted if I am not thankful now. So this is just a reminder for all of us to say there was a time that I never thought that I could be where I am now. So I am thankful for what I have, and I am grateful for what is to come. Friends, thank you for the honor and the privilege of being able to have these conversations with you. I love doing life and business with you. If you found this helpful, tag a friend, share it. Much love, much gratitude. I will see you all in about a week to do this all over again. Have a good one.